Well, good morning, everybody. It's good to see you, as my youngest daughter would say, in real life, and thank you very much for coming along. The only function of economic forecasting, said John Kenneth Galbraith, is to make astrology look respectable. With that in mind, rather than making any bold predictions today, I'd like to talk to you about our story in South Yorkshire, what we're doing, and why it matters to our economy and to our people. It is a privilege and a pleasure to address you all this morning at South Yorkshire's inaugural Economic Summit, and I am very grateful to all of you for being here. With the support of Andy Haldane, the Blavatnik School of Government and the Department for Levelling Up, we're here to exchange ideas, to innovate and to find problems to the challenges that we face. We may not quite put the whole world to rights today, but we'll give it a damn good try. Now, as I speak, only just on the cusp of what we hope is the end of the pandemic, with all the challenges of economic growth and inequality as acute as ever, with a global climate crisis accelerating, and now with the fires of war adding to the uncertainty and peril facing both our region and our planet. I'm acutely aware of all of those problems, but I'm also acutely aware of our potential, because we're fighting to answer those challenges, both old and new. There is so much that we have already done and are doing, and that we can yet do. But my key message today is that to solve our problems, we need to address them at their roots, to make change at a systemic level. That's what I work for. And I think that we need to be willing to push our boundaries and our comfort zone and change the rules of the game. We need to build a bigger economy, but also a better one, stronger, more productive, but also greener and fairer. But to do that, we need to be humble, open and connected, to learn from, work with and support all of the forces that can help us make our region better. And it's that collaboration that we're here today to build. For almost 4 years now, I've been immensely privileged to lead a region of almost unbelievable ingenuity, of creativity, of opportunity. Let me tell you about it, because tomorrow we're honoured to be hosting the Indian High Commissioner. One of the things that we'll show her is a little piece of kit, Sheffield Hallam University's National Centre for Food Engineering. It's essentially a very fancy rice maker, and I'm told that that is a scientific term. Better rice milling has an outsized potential to help small producers cut waste and take ownership of the production process, reducing emissions and improving global rice yields, supporting cooperatives and helping small businesses, and all that from a machine that can be powered by the energy from the sun. It is quite literally a shining example of the sort of economy I want for our region, an economy at the forefront of solving the world's problems, not just our own. It is amazing, but it is not unique, because over the past 4 years or so, it's been my privilege to invest in and support a host of industrial and research assets that are putting South Yorkshire in the vanguard of the technological and increasingly of the green revolution. Right here in South Yorkshire, ITM Power have the world's largest production line of hydrogen electrolyzers. Hydrogen can cleanly power cars, trucks, buses, trains, machines, perhaps even cargo ships. So long as it's produced with clean electricity, the potential is absolutely game-changing. At the end of 2021, I opened an amazing new Magtech factory in Rotherham, a company doing brilliant things with electric drivetrains, converting diesel into net zero vehicles. We're in advanced discussion with a company called Hybrid Air Vehicles to develop their production facility here in South Yorkshire. Meanwhile, over in Rotherham, just 2 miles from where we are today, is the newly operational UK Atomic Energy Authority facility. If we can crack fusion, then we'll be able to produce enough clean electricity to power 1,000 ITM factories. The AEA chose South Yorkshire to host the only device in the world that allows engineers to test components in the conditions found inside a fusion power plant with temperatures close to that of the sun. So when I say that we have star performers here in South Yorkshire, I really do mean it. And why are the AEA here? They're here because fusion power is no longer just a problem for the scientists. It's a problem for engineers and manufacturers as well. And that is South Yorkshire's sweet spot, our superpower. The AEA is here because they can work alongside our Nuclear Advanced Manufacturing Research Centre and the new Energy Institute and Translational Energy Research Centre at the University of Sheffield. Building the bridge between raw research and practical implementation, real-life, industrial-led innovation with purpose, bringing the future to life. And that's what it's all about. But it's not just nuclear. The Energy Institute and Turk are providing a foundation for another centre that will lead research and commercial testing of sustainable aviation fuels, the first of its kind in Europe. And they in turn are only one in an incredible cluster of translational research and collaboration facilities across our region. That includes the building we're in right now, where we have new businesses starting out, sharing not just space, but ideas and expertise. Incidentally, while I've got your attention, a little pitch. This is also why we would be supremely well placed to host a new headquarters for Great British Railways in Doncaster. Yeah, I think Roz agrees, and Damien. Joining our immense railway heritage with the cutting-edge research of the future, that has to be a winning combination. Tell Grant. And it gives me huge pleasure today to announce a significant addition to this galaxy of stars, the South Yorkshire Sustainability Centre. It's a collaboration between the MCA, the University of Sheffield, Sheffield Hallam University, our local authorities, and a host of private and voluntary organisations. The centre will be a hub to identify problems and find solutions for our transition to a greener South Yorkshire and to seize the opportunities that come with it. It's a truly innovative way of working, backed by Research England to the tune of £5 million. Places like these are the crown jewels of our efforts to create a better economy in our region. They are why we are starting to attract businesses and people at a growing rate. Because fantastic companies like ITM Power are not here by chance, they are here by choice. From medicine to metals, to food engineering to infrastructure, this is where the future is being made. This is how we can help power the next industrial revolution, just as our coal mines and steelworks powered the first. So, our future is bright, but I also have to talk about our problems as well as our potential. Because for every vibrant business, there is one bouncing from month to month, struggling to cover the payroll, worrying about the next bill, growing at a glacial rate. For every successful entrepreneur, there is a business idea frustrated by a lack of finance or support. And for every bright spark in our schools, colleges, and universities, there are people whose talent is being wasted by a struggling transport system, poor housing, and too few opportunities. This plays out in low wages, talent lost to emigration, the underutilization of a skilled and talented workforce. It plays out in too low a business density, too few businesses growing exponentially, and it plays out in communities that have been left behind. and it plays out in unacceptable inequality. And if we keep doing what we've always done, we'll keep getting what we've always got. But if we want to change the status quo, we have to address the system, not just the symptoms. What does that actually mean? For one, it means our challenges are not just about economics, they are about power and structure. Let me give you an example. In the last 4 years, I've submitted endless bids for funding in partnership with our local councils and partners right across the region. The Levelling Up Fund, the Community Renewal Fund, the City Region Sustainable Transport Settlement, Transforming Cities Fund, Get Britain Building Fund, Freeports, the list goes on and on. All at the behest of Whitehall, all with, on the face of it, reasonable questions, laudable goals, but narrow priorities. It's exhausting, it's transactional, and it doesn't work. Each of those funds have their own reporting mechanisms and rules, limiting creativity, limiting flexibility, and limiting delivery. We can't know if we'll win a bid, so we can't properly plan. The money often comes in modest little pots, inadequate for more ambitious projects. It is politicised, with much funding going to places that are not the most in need. And above all, it is given out according to Whitehall's priorities, not ours. We may know our region better than anyone in London and Whitehall, but we are still dancing to their tune. It's no way to support development. Just imagine if the countless hours spent on managing those bids instead went into helping businesses, designing new projects and programs, forging partnerships, getting stuff done. Just imagine if we could actually implement a comprehensive development plan, if we could act strategically over a decade, not a funding round, if we could take our destiny in our own hands, it would be truly transformational. Now, I'm conscious that Andy is in the audience, so let me be very clear. This is the minimum that we need for levelling up to be taken seriously. So, this is my ask of you, Andy. If you can do that, we will, of course, be accountable for the role that we play. We will work in partnership because most things have a national as well as a local angle. We do appreciate the ambition in the white paper and gradual moves like the devolution of adult education. But at the end of the day, we need you and your colleagues to deliver on the promise of devolution. And we need a bigger ambition than merely taking another 8 years to get the rest of England to where London is now. We need you to unleash our communities, because only then can we unleash our potential. No pressure. Meanwhile, we're not waiting around. We've leveraged our devolved revenue to create a renewal fund worth up to £500 million. Part of that money will help to go to tackle the big strategic challenges we face, transport, decarbonisation, but part will go to invest in enterprises with the potential to create jobs, boost productivity and incomes, and shift our economy for the better. If people in the audience have suggestions, and I sense that you might, please do get in touch, because I genuinely want to hear from you. Power and structure matters, but that applies in other ways as well. Let me give you another example. Last year, I inaugurated what we call the Ownership Hub. It's a groundbreaking initiative in partnership with Co-ops UK and the Employee Ownership Association, designed to support the creation and growth of cooperatives and worker ownership. Why? Well, it's inherently good and just to give ordinary people more control and a fairer share in their work. But there are other reasons besides. Research suggests employee ownership drives on average 2% higher annual sales and employment growth. Employee owners are 6 times less likely to face redundancy, and they have a higher median household wealth than their peers, especially for younger workers and workers from the poorest households. This is about making our economy both stronger and fairer. It's about changing its structure in an assumingly revolutionary way. It's about changing the rules of the game. It's all very modest so far, but that is about to change. So I'm absolutely delighted to say that we will be working in partnership with the think tank Ownership at Work and specialist impact investor Volute to support their plans for £100 million of finance to bring more company ownership into the hands of ordinary workers. It's called Time to Share, and it's going to be the start of something very big. Together, we'll track the economic and social impact this delivers and use that to draw even greater capital into the region in the years ahead. My goal for these initiatives and others like them is to fundamentally reshape our economy for the better. South Yorkshire is worthy of no less ambition than that. In the end, everything I said comes back to one idea. We face big challenges, but if we can overcome them, if we are willing to tackle the roots of the problem. But we simply cannot accept the status quo. It's just not good enough. So, with innovation and determination and a clear moral compass, we can unlock the dazzling, brilliant potential of our people, our enterprises, and our economy. We can and must do so while making fundamental changes to our economy to make it more just, more inclusive, and more sustainable. And in doing so, we can do more than just increase our GVA. We can build better lives for the people of South Yorkshire and a better future for the world. And that's exactly what I'm looking forward to working with all of you to do. Thank you.